Welcome to the wild, wild west of adulting with your co-hosts, Anniedi, Essien, and Christina Farinacci Roberts. Today's episode is called Let Disruption Get You Moving and Grooving, okay? Everybody out there has heard about the D-Nice DJ set playing all weekend, but I've been actually seeing a lot of people on TikTok who now are all of a sudden Beyonce's backup dancers. I did not know you guys had those moves in you, so keep it up out there. But lots of folks are getting into lots of things. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of banana bread popping up on my feed. It's like people who were keto or
I can't wait to eat banana bread. I'm like 10 days away, I think, from my sugar detox being over.
You're the only one that is detoxing sugar. All the keto people are like, let's just throw caution to the wind and go in on this banana bread. I've seen a lot of stress baking going on. I've also seen, a lot of gardening. And I actually thought, when I...
The funniest part, though, with those memes was that meme that said, this quarantine is sponsored by carbs. Because even though I'm not eating sugar, I am eating carbs, for sure.
Carbs are making it possible for everyone to still stay sane while they're, the world is shifting all around them. So definitely carbs have been a big part of keeping everybody in good spirits. And, but gardening has been another one. I know when I saw my backyard, I was thinking, oh, it would be a great time to be gardening. But then I just realized if you don't look closely enough, the weeds actually look somewhat like grass. So it's a win-win for everybody. So I don't know that now is going to be the time that I am going to suddenly develop a green thumb. But Christina, I don't know how you've been keeping busy or what you see that people have been up to on your end.
Well, I feel like week one, there was a bunch of overachievers that were totally like reorganizing everything and, doing these deep cleans. And I feel like I just gave myself permission week one to, process everything, to kind of veg out for a little bit. But I'm also one of those people that, like, when I go on a vacation, by like day 3, even sometimes day 2, the evening, I'm like, okay, so what are we doing? I can't just lay on the beach all day. So week 2 of this, I decided like I really want to start going into action, start doing. So my house has literally an infinite number of projects, but I wanted to be realistic and say, okay, can I commit to doing just two mini projects a day? So I started with 2 cabinets. One cabinet, it has like four shelves, and the first 2 are like all of my husband's junk food, and then the other top 2 are healthy, like our pastas, our grains, or whatever. But it was just like literally, it was so crazy. I'm ashamed to say this, but I threw out a few pastas that had expiration dates of like 2016, I think, and 2018, which means they had to have been around for a while because the expiration date is usually like years after you've actually purchased it. So yeah, and then I have like another one right next to it that has more of like that kind of stuff. And then yesterday I did the sink underneath the sink, the cabinets under the sink, like the kitchen sink and our first floor bathroom sink. And I have to tell you, there's just something that is so satisfying when something is like clean and organized. Now it's probably only a matter of like 36 hours before my family unravels everything I've done, but I'm really just going to bask in this glory for a little bit. But that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I eventually will make my way to the second floor, and that's going to be a lot going on because I have a walk-in closet that you cannot really walk in right now. So that definitely needs to get tackled. We actually have a room that is supposed to be a spare room, and it's just become like storage, like a storage thing. And it's not a good look. I don't know. I know you got some projects,
Well,
girl.
so I mean, I think if I can just put the laundry away, that's the big thing. It's like you do the laundry and then you start getting the clean clothes out of the basket. It's a vicious.
I have the laundry couch. We literally have a that nobody actually sits on. It's where the laundry just gets thrown on. Sometimes I'll fold it, but I like refuse to bring other people's stuff upstairs for them. And then these mofos, they don't care. They'll let that stay there. And then I'm stubborn. I'm like, well, I'm not moving it then. So then it's just, it's there.
It's a vicious cycle, but I think if we can all set the bar high for at least one home project, whether you want to start adding to the honey-do list. I've seen a lot of people doing a lot of interior decor, moving the furniture around, trying to you're going to be indoors for a while, so you want to have a new perspective, maybe some different throw pillows, put some paint on the wall, something to just zhuzh it up and make it feel like a fresh space. I see a lot of that, like home projects going on right now. But it's an interesting time to be thinking about, how to keep moving, how to keep grooving. An interesting quote Marie Forleo says often is that clarity comes from engagement and not thought. So I'll say that again. Clarity comes from engagement.
You got to say that again for the people in the back.
Clarity comes from engagement and not thought. So I think for many of us who are certified busybodies, I will say I am a card-carrying busybody. I've been since childhood. If we were ever sitting still for too long of a period of time, my parents would be concerned, looking over suspiciously at us, thinking, there's a number of chores and things to be done, jobs to be done, whether it was at some points working multiple jobs while being in school or, just being a certified workaholic. I think a lot of us really pride ourselves on keeping busy, staying busy, and keeping active. And so these periods of uncertainty are a little bit unsettling, where you have the quiet space where there are moments where you're sort of alone with your thoughts and you're having to process through what is going to be my next step. And a lot of times we think that we can work through these things by thinking, but I think the Marie Forleo quote really is a call to action. It's an invitation for us to get our hands busy, get our hands dirty in terms of, I even noticed if I'm chopping up vegetables or I'm doing some sort of artwork or craft work, that the mind is free in a way that it's not when you're sort of just trying to sort of sit quietly, if you will, watching TV or other things that are numbing. There's something about having your hands busy that actually does invite creativity. It invites thought. It inspires ideas and possibilities that perhaps if you were sort of caught up in your usual routine of busyness or so still to the point that you were sort of overwhelmed with your thoughts that you're not able to sort of break through and figure out, what's the next step. I don't know if any of that is resonating with you because you are a busybody even in this shutdown.
Anniedi.
You and your volunteering and whatnots, it's like.
I know. Anniedi is so mad at me for volunteering. Whether she says it or not, she definitely is giving me side eye through the phone every time I'm like, all right, I'm on my way to volunteer. But anyway, so yes, I am definitely president of the Busybodies Club. My husband he gets so annoyed with me, but then I'm like, this is how you got me. Like, it's not like all of a sudden I became a busybody. And if I'm a busybody, I don't know what to call him. Lazy
He's a
Larry.
homebody.
He's living his hashtag best life right now. Yeah. But no, it definitely resonates for me because as much as I am a doer, I feel like I can be at the extremes, right? So it's like I'm either like going and like trying to do a million different things, but in the process of doing a million different things, I can sometimes get stuck. Well, there's two things. One is I can get stuck in like writing the to-do list, but never actually doing anything on the list because I'm taking so long to write the dang list. And then I'm hashtag squirrel. Like whether it's like mental squirrel or a physical squirrel, like I literally just, I get all into like wanting to write stuff down or having all these ideas. But what am I doing with those? And then sometimes even the being busy, I'm busy, but busy doesn't mean productive, right? Like, so there's a difference between like sometimes I'm so busy doing all of these things, but then I'm not doing the things that would have the most impact in terms of propelling me forward, right? So I can run on a treadmill, I'm moving, but I'm not going anywhere, right? So I think it just it reminds me also, like, I'm putting all these ideas together right now. It's like the organizing our homes and stuff. It's like that idea of like feng shui, like we're trying to feng shui our homes right now, but it's like we need to feng shui our lives. So I'm also trying to take this time to say, where was I getting stuck before? Where was I feeling like I'm this little hamster on a wheel? And like, how can I use backward design to now rethink when I am able to move forward in a normal way after all of this is done? What will that look like? Like, um, how can I remove some of those barriers that either I've put in place or not done enough brainstorming around, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. I think there is a way to reverse engineer this idea or this vision that we have for our lives and sort of backtrack it and say, okay, what do I need to do now to get there? I think a lot of times folks feel like, well, I don't have time to do XYZ project because I am so busy, or I don't have time to spend time with my family because I am, caught up with this, that, and the other. But this space, this disruption could actually reorder the way we think about those different priorities on the other end of this. And I think it's okay to say, hey, my life may look different after this. It may not be back to the good old days if you want to describe it that way, but it may be a new normal. A lot of folks are talking about this time as creating a new normal as we process through and navigate this together. And I think it's okay to think that on the other end of this, life will look and feel differently. And as you mentioned, like, what are those areas where I was getting stuck? And how can I get unstuck during this time to make sure that there is more flow on the other end of this? So it's a unique opportunity to question some of our long-held beliefs, to challenge some of our deepest assumptions, and to also push ourselves and stretch ourselves to think differently about the way we oriented our world. So that idea of organizing your cabinets, feng shuiing your house, feng shuiing your life is a similar concept in terms of finding that flow. And I think
Mm-hmm.
flow for us looks different. For you and me, it might be karaoke, right? It's like everything feels very unsettling, but there's something about singing a familiar tune or a common song that sort of grounds us and reminds us of who we were before this all happened. So what are those things that are your rituals, your traditions that you tap into that ground you and center you when you're during the storms? And then what are the new traditions that you want to create coming out of this, whether it is, virtual coffee with a mentor or a former classmate, or family dinner time where, you used to be on the road quite a bit and now you're actually able to learn what your kids' names, not your kids' names, but your kids' friends' names are. Hopefully you know your children's names, but my mom would call
Rocky Jackson.
my mom would rattle through the list till she got to the kid's name.
Well,
That
to be fair, your mom had
had
four
a lot
actual.
going on.
Always had a few stragglers that that were in.
We learn to answer to any name at some point, but yeah, I think this is an interesting time for that.
All right. Well, I think it's time to do our closeout karaoke. And again, we've kept you in the 21st century with this one. It's gonna get you moving and shaking. All right, here we go. If you like Maroon 5. Bite the tongue and I'll know you. Kiss me while I'm drunk and I'll show you the moves like that. You
I got the moves like Jagger. I got the moves like Jagger.
need to try to control you. Look into my eyes and I'll owe you some moves like Jagger.
I got the moves like Jagger. I got the moves like Jagger.
So you guys need to start making moves like Jagger, okay? Whether it's organizing your kitchen, whether it's, figuring out how you're going to write that best-selling memoir or, create that dream job. Just go out and do it.
Yeah, launch that business, create that side hustle. Now's the time to really just get moving in a direction that energizes you and that gets you excited about the future. All right. So thank you for joining us today. We hope you're finding it valuable. Definitely let us know in the comments what's been keeping you busy. What are you up to? What hobbies have you taken on? What projects are you working on? What song requests do you have for us? So let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. So thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a beautiful day.
For work, for the people.